Hello. Hi, Sleuth Mom.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? How's everyone in the chat? Um, so I wanted Shannon's gonna join us in about 15 minutes. She's getting her kids food and getting situated, doing the mom thing. Um, but I have Sleuth Mom joining us because she knows a lot about the case. She's also been talking to the family, and I want her in here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It seems like you've been talking to them pretty much as I have, though. So I'm glad that, combined, we should hopefully be able to get the story out there and get Gracie's face absolutely everywhere.
Yes, it's super, super important. Hi, Princess Megan. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Terry. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Itziel. Krista. Grandma Sherry. Ashley. Small Town Beauty Sisters. Donald. I want to read this to y'all real quick. Can y'all still hear me?
Yep, sound great.
Okay. I'm on my phone doing this, so but that post that you posted from Shannon, I want to read that. Do you have it to where you could screen share it? I don't know if I can.
Yeah, which one? Um,
The one about the update from September 26th.
okay, let me
I
get
just
to
want
it.
to. Okay. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Rev Rock.
And if anybody wants to, I did start a Facebook group to kind of help spread awareness. So I'll put that in the chat here too, in case
Yes,
anyone wants to join.
that would be awesome.
That way we can kind of keep the YouTube videos and the updates and the police updates and all of that kind of in one place.
Yeah,
Okay.
y'all go join that because she shares a lot about that, and it's extremely important. We cannot stress enough how important it is to share this case wherever you can. Time is really, really of the essence.
Okay. So you said September 26th.
It's on that group.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. I got it.
awesome.
Okay. Do you want me to read it or do you want to read it?
I don't care either way.
Okay. Go ahead and
What-
share my screen. It should be backstage.
Okay, how do I do that on? Okay, here we go.
Okay. So it says, update. As of now, Gracie is still missing. Her phone has not turned on. She has not contacted any family members. The police have finally contacted us after 96 hours. We are still working with a nonprofit organization called the RAD Movement. Within 30 minutes of contacting them, they had the high school district unlock her school laptop and download and share all information. They have come across numerous leads, but so far nothing is panning out. All local leads have been cleared as of now. They are treating Gracie as Lord Abduction from the PlayStation gaming platform. They believe when I tell them this isn't her, and the note she left raised alarm. This is not your typical runaway. She has been lured by an adult. I found out after the initial report they convinced her to take her social security card and birth certificate. No regular runaway thinks to grab that info. An adult told her to get it. The detective has rolled out the unknown girl named Janessa, which I did ask her about that. And so that was somebody from her school, and they did roll her out.
Okay.
Um, they confirmed that she did drop her off at my house, and the vehicle in question has also been cleared. The RAD group are still leaning towards someone online as quote unquote the lady. In the note is unknown. They are actively working on gaining access to all her social media accounts. They have rolled out all local contacts thus far. I was directed by the RAD movement to set her up with the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They have made a flyer and set her up in the national database. I have also contacted the Polly Class Foundation to have flyers made, and they will start circulating tomorrow. Channel 10 contacted me today and got some details and said they would call me back, but so far nothing. I guess Gracie's disappearance isn't enough of a story. Media has to run a story which helps ratings. I have yet to contact other news agencies as we are just exhausted and can only do so much in a day. The police detectives have her listed as just a runaway. Yet all other agencies feel this is suspicious. And I, as a mother, know deep down something is wrong. Gracie is shy and timid and does not do things on her own volition. She has to be convinced things are safe. I found out today that she didn't hang out with a lot of people in school. She was virtually invisible. The only thing she complained about in the note was that we wouldn't let her get a job. She wanted to help us out financially as we struggle with rent and bills. We had this convo a couple weeks ago. I told her not to worry, we were fine, and she was to focus on school. This child was not unhappy in the sense that she wanted to leave her family. I fully believe someone convinced her they could help her get a job. Why else would she take her birth certificate and social security card? She's 15. I'm asking for everyone's help in finding our daughter. Children are found by the extra work people put in, not the work of local police. If parents don't put in the footwork, their child will not be found. We have been missing work, school, and are barely able to eat or sleep. My daughter doesn't even want to sleep in her room as she shared it with her sister. She has pulled her mattress into her brother's room and is sleeping on the floor. Alan can barely talk. His stuttering that he dealt with as a child is surfacing due to his stress. I am able to hold it together enough to search during the day, but I admit my wine intake is increasing every evening in hopes of sleep. We are all not okay. I have never wanted to ask for help like this, but please, we need help finding Gracie. We need her picture out there. We need help in searching. We are struggling with finances to cover travel expenses for flyers. I've gone through 4 tanks of gas in 3 days. Gas in California is averaging $5.50 a gallon. I never wanted to ask for help, but I'm desperate now. Please, please, please share her photo. Get her out there. I have connections from here to West Virginia. We need eyes open everywhere. Thank you.
Those are her pictures.
Yeah.
Y'all take a screenshot of that, share it wherever you can. Sleuth Mom, you want to tell them the name of that Facebook group?
Yes.
Or maybe put it in the comments? Can you put it in the comments?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Alena Gracie Mitchem missing. # find Gracie. And so I did put the link. Let me put it again so that everyone can join it. I literally just made it about an hour ago. So it's very low on members right now, but we will get it grown and we will get
Yes,
her face out there.
absolutely. Hi, STEM Convo. No, I set it to 9:30. It's 6:30 California's time, so Gracie and her family's time.
Yes.
Yes, Candace, share, share, share. It is super important. The fact that it took law enforcement even 4 days to start even looking is so scary. They live 20 minutes, right, from Mexico.
Yeah, 20 minutes from the border.
And one thing that Shannon told me today that I was actually not aware of, my husband was, but I wasn't. You don't, now we all know that there's illegal ways to get over to Mexico, but I didn't know that you don't need to show anything to cross the borders into Mexico.
Just your real ID, right? Or you don't have to even show that.
No, nope. That is
Really?
what Shannon
It's
told
just to
me
get
today.
back. Probably just to get back into America.
Exactly, just to get back in the US, but you don't have to show anything to get to Mexico, which is how scary is that, y'all? Let's be for real. How scary?
Wow. Wow. This flyer here was made by someone on Twitter. I think
It's
her name is
beautiful.
Fresha. Yeah. I'm starting to see, I wanted to share this one specifically because I'm starting to see #find Gracie is starting to pick up a ton of traction. And
Mhm.
so I'm really hoping that, we can get her viral in the next couple days and get her face absolutely global.
Mm, yes, the more eyes, the better. I mean, And the thing that worries both Sleuth Mom and I is the fact that she took her electronics, she took her tablet, her cell phone, her PlayStation, all of those, and they have not been used. Her phone is going straight to voicemail. What teenager is going to bring all that stuff? Like Sleuth Mom told me earlier, we were talking on the phone. She said, what teenager is going to bring that stuff and then not use it? Like, what's the
Right.
point of bringing it if you're not going to use it?
Especially the PlayStation. I think it's
Right.
pretty much common knowledge that people can track your cell phone. And so if she was worried about being tracked, that would be something that she would probably be concerned about.
Mhm.
But the PlayStation, I mean, I don't think the general public realizes that it pings just like a cell phone would. And
Right.
so I feel like she would have played, especially looking at her gaming history log. She literally was on her PlayStation almost constantly over the last 2 months,
Mm.
and I don't picture her just not playing.
Yeah, I don't either. Lacey Ann said no pings. Have there been pings, did you say? I don't think so.
Not since she left her house.
Yeah, not since she left her house. There's been nothing.
She
And
is from Sun Valley, California.
yes. And remember, if y'all don't know, said in my last live, um, she got lured away by, I guess, a woman online, is what her note said to her family. That she was leaving with a woman. She was coming to A woman was coming to pick her up. If I can speak, that would be awesome. And she was going to take her to a runaway shelter so that she could have more freedom.
Yeah, the sentence that the mom read to me was, "I've gone to a place for runaways. The woman who runs it picked me up." And so, I don't know. It's
Mm.
just frustrating. Um, it's frustrating that police did not act sooner. The fact that they are 96 hours behind
Mm-hmm.
police even getting this knowledge, is frustrating. I
It
did
is
pull
super
this up
frustrating.
and, like, zoom it way in for a reason. This bucket hat that she is wearing is something that she loved to wear, and she likely would be wearing, and then also to show the green in her hair. So this is what it looked like kind of, closer to when it was dyed. However, this is the last photos that were taken of her, and see how it's, like, almost faded
Faded.
completely out. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So her hair is, like, got a slight tinge of green to it, but it's almost back to her brown. And then this photo here was taken on the day before she disappeared, and, the teardrops in her eyes are real teardrops, it's not a filter. Mom kind of described to us that she was spending her last day with her siblings, going out of her way to be nice to them, hanging out with them, and, playing with her brother more than usual. They did a craft together, her and her sister, and she was crying in some of the photos. And she thinks that she was like making good memories with her siblings before she knew she was going to run away.
Yes. Small town beauty sisters. No, I do not think she's doing this for attention. This isn't in her character. And the fact that she was on her PlayStation so much. I mean, y'all, she didn't want to do anything with her family. She was glued to that PlayStation and she took it with her. I don't know. It's something in me does not think she's doing this for attention. I've seen a lot of runaway cases and I just, I don't think so.
I worry about the communication that she had with this person leading up to
Yes.
this. The fact that she didn't tell any of her
Why
siblings.
don't you talk about that, Sleuth Mom, to them?
Well, like, so she had been talking to this person, we think, I would say for at least the last month. Her mom said that she was just nonstop on her PlayStation. She was really secluding herself to the point where she wasn't hanging out with people at school. She wasn't really talking to anybody outside of this PlayStation. And so I worry about the fact that she didn't tell her siblings anything, especially the sister that she shares a room with. had no idea that she was considering running away, had no idea that she was going to leave, or any indications that anything was wrong within their house. And that worries me because what if this person who lured her out, was either threatening that, they could harm her family, or that, her family would hate her or do this, that, or the other thing. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Um, what made her leave and literally tell no one? And
Exactly.
that's what I'm wondering.
Yes.
It's just not normal to not tell anyone, especially a sibling that you share a room with. I mean, her sister literally was there while she was playing PlayStation. The PlayStation
Right.
was in her room.
Back to the bucket hat, I did wanna say she said that it was important that she most likely has it on her. Her mom said that she, can't find it in the home, so she most likely did take it. Actually, I think her mom just texted me. She said, "Still waiting on food. I'm sorry, Mel. I am coming, and I'm only 2 minutes from the house."
So Frisco Chick, they are working to get her PlayStation IP address and different things from their home internet sources, and be able to see if the PlayStation gets sold anywhere or if it gets turned on. Sony is being of no help to them. They are
No.
literally doing nothing. The RAD movement did get their information off of the school computer that was on there, but honestly, there's just there's not much to go on without the devices. Like, it's a longer process. It's going to take a lot more time.
Yes. And we've already wasted so much time. Well, law enforcement.
Yeah.
Um, why would
12
she
days
think
out
a
later.
shelter would be a good place to go? Because they probably yep, to make her think that. She wanted a job since she was 15. Her mom was like, "No, you don't need a job right now. I want you to focus on your schoolwork and your studies and all that." And she wanted the freedom, which honestly I can't blame Shannon. You focus on your school and then later on we'll get you a job.
Mhm.
Um but they promised her a job, I'm sure, and all this other stuff. And, they promise these kids, these teenagers, the world, and they're so lonely and they just want to be heard and seen and understood. And these people do that for them. They know how to do that for them.
So Ashley, unfortunately, some of her passwords had been changed. And so, like, their PlayStation account, they haven't been able to gain access to. They do have her gamer tag. They do know what her gamer tag is. They were able to get into her Snapchat and her Instagram. However, there's no communications in there that would raise alarm. Um, and so, they're kind of stuck with very little information right now.
Mm. And as you can tell by Shannon's Facebook post, they are literally panicked. They are sick to their stomach. They can't sleep. I could not imagine. I would be ill.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So, as a community, we have got to come together and spread awareness for this beautiful 15-year-old. Like, ugh, her picture just breaks my heart.
Yes,
Screenshot her picture, share.
they have tried to contact Sony multiple times, and they have either been put on hold for several hours at a time, hung up on, they get the bots responding instead of people,
Mhm.
all of those things. And so I believe that, like, you know, there's a Sony in their local hometown that they probably need to just go to. But I
Yes.
know that at the end of the day, whenever it comes down to it, Sony's gonna wanna protect their customers, quote, unquote, and
Yep.
their privacy, and so they're
Yep.
likely gonna need a warrant to be able to get the other users' information, and it's
Yes.
so frustrating.
It is. Just like Debbie Collier that I'm working on, I spoke to the law enforcement over there about it, and he's like, "We are literally waiting on the records and the pings, and they're giving us a hard time about it because, civil rights, they want to protect their privacy and blah, blah, blah. So the cops are literally having to subpoena the people to get these records, and that can take weeks. And unfortunately, in situations like this, Debbie has been found, but situations like this, she's out there and that time is of the essence.
Right.
Anyone in her school been spoken to? Do you know that?
Yes. Yeah, they talked to everyone that she possibly could have been talking to. That's how her mom found out that she wasn't even eating lunch in the cafeteria. That's how secluded she had herself at the school even.
Mm, I just can't. It's,
There are a couple news reports now, Krista Smith, but you're right. They just started, I would say, what, 3, 4 days ago?
mm-hmm.
Everything else has been through YouTube up until this point.
Yep.
And honestly, it's starting to gain traction. I know they've been busy talking to the news, doing interviews, talking to detectives and things like that. And so she is starting to get traction and awareness. But I wanted to point out too, like she's a chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever she changes her makeup and her hairstyle and things like that, she naturally changes her appearance and her look so many different ways just by changing what she's wearing, just by changing, her hairstyle, like this one, she's pulled back in a ponytail. You would not even think that this
That
girl
was
in this
her.
picture is the same girl
Right.
as this or,
This.
this.
Yeah.
And so this is what I mean, like, she is a chameleon naturally, and that honestly, whenever you talk about trafficking and different things like that, um,
They like that.
it's gonna be so easy for them to change her appearance or make her unrecognizable just by
Mm-hmm.
changing little details about her. Now, one of the things that Shannon had told me that she had actually taken was her makeup, and so she did intend to make herself presentable wherever it was that she was going.
Mm-hmm. So that makes me think that maybe they were telling her she could get a job.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
Um, Tiffany, she went missing from California,
One of the
Spring
things
Valley.
too I wanted to tell because, one of the questions was brought up the other day on your live about why would she have known where her Social Security card and her birth certificate were to be able to take them? They have a go
Yes.
box in their house in
Yep.
case of a fire or an emergency
And all
evacuation
the
that all
kids
of
know where it is.
Yep.
She did tell me that. She said, "You were right. We have a go box that all that stuff is in, and all the kids know exactly where that is." No, there is not much available on her, Joanna. That's why it is so important to spread the news because a lot of people just aren't aware. Like, even some of my daughter, I have a 14-year-old, y'all know, and even her friends' parents, when I talk to them about this and they find out what I do and I talk to them about it, they're like, "What?" They don't even realize about trafficking. You know what I mean? Like, not a lot of people realize how easy it is. Did they try contacting some people at the border? You know, I am not too sure. I, they have camera. And, here's the thing. If she went over the border, who's to say she went the legal route?
Right.
Y'all know?
That is something that I suggested to them yesterday after my live. Somebody reached out, or was it this morning? I can't remember. It's all blending together, but that they send a flyer to the embassy in Mexico so that if she would be in Mexico and, get into any type of trouble or anything like that, and need to go to the embassy, that they would already have her flyer there and know
Hmm.
who she is.
Yes. Yes, this is the same girl that left the note.
Yes.
Um, I Yes, Jalissa is still missing as well.
One of the things that scares me is how similar this is to Alicia Navarro
Yes.
and how similar this is to Kaylee Jones, both teenagers who are still missing.
I'm bringing
Um,
Shannon on.
okay, great. Hi, Shannon. How are you?
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm good. I don't even want
Sorry
to
for
ask you how
being
you are, but how are you?
we're tired. It's been a long day. We've had ups and downs and thought, oh, we have a lead, and then no, nothing.
Yeah,
So, it's we're back to where we were on the in the morning. So you get your hopes up for the day. You hear the detectives have like this, and this, and we're gonna go look after this, and then turns out to be nothing. But again, that's because tips and leads are coming in from the news media and all the publicity that's getting out. So people are getting she's getting noticed, I should say. But whether the
that's
tips are
good.
legit or not, what do? You
Right.
have to go for everything. But so far nothing.
My heart breaks for y'all, and I hope that her name spreads like wildfire everywhere. Her picture, everything.
It's out there. I mean, we're walking up in the street now, like at the grocery stores, and if people see us putting up flyers or whatever, they're like, "Oh, I saw you on the news," and all I can do is just hand them a flyer and say, "Put this by a gas station by your house." Like
Right.
one flyer, one person, 100 eyes a day at least.
So, have you heard from detectives recently?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Today has been an up and down type
Okay.
of situation. So yeah, we what we thought, yay, we got a tip, and then no, we get
Nothing.
nothing. Yeah, it wasn't, it just wasn't, it wasn't her. We went and saw the video footage, and it's not her. It's not her.
Mm. I know Sleuth Mom wanted to talk to you about some stuff.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
I didn't know, Shannon. Do you want to start kind of at the beginning for all of the new people who are in the chat tonight, to tell us, tell us about her personality, tell us about who she is, and a little bit about the day that she went missing, when you guys realized she was missing, and how that all went.
Okay, so Gracie is a timid, shy, quiet kid for the most part in public. Now at home, totally different personality. Just of course most kids are when they're at home. They're their actual themselves. But when it came to trying to make friends, she didn't. She seemed to struggle a little bit. She was shy. She didn't want to go talk to people, and so we found out that she apparently was not doing so well in her new high school. This is all the news to us. So she just started the new high school this last month. So she started, let's go back. She was at one high school last year. We moved it to a different city. Now, it's not very far, but it was more convenient for her to go to this new high school. There had been some incidences where she had gotten in trouble with a boy on campus once. And I'm not going to lie, she's a teenager. She's a girl. She's young, coming into her own.
Mm-hmm.
We decided, let's start fresh and new. Let's not let that be something a hindrance for you, because kids can be mean. And when one rumor starts, so she went to Monte Vista. She seemed to be okay. She was doing all right. She came home every day acting happy. Mom, I talked to this person. Oh my God, Mom, this boy looked at me today. I mean, different conversations, just not telling me, not keeping things from me, but telling us things, not being just just being herself. Um, the day in question, the day before she left, she spent the entire day with her sisters, or sister and brother, I should say. She made like a little hand collage picture thing where she like painted it, and it said two of a kind, always and forever. So she was planning, like she was making memories, right? Like, so but it wasn't a child that was wanting to just leave, because the pictures that we found that she was taking with her sister that day, you can literally see. I asked her sister if they were filters, and she said, "No, Mom, those aren't filters." And I'm like, "Well, why are there tears in her eyes? Why would a child who's getting ready to run away, or so they say, or you wanting to leave the house, be upset about that?" To me, this just seems a little odd, but maybe to other people it's not. But again, there was nothing leading up to her being, or to give us any indication that she was unhappy.
She wasn't acting depressed or like maybe changing her appearance as far as like how she would typically dress, anything like that.
No, not at all. Now the I know you guys say she's a chameleon. Now she did put on a little bit of weight from last year. Now the picture of her in the dress was her last year at the JROTC ball. So that's maybe about 7 months ago now. So she's developing is what I should say. So she's becoming more of a woman.
Yes.
Right.
And that's where the change came from that picture to this picture. But her face with the makeup is absolutely 100% chameleon. She can, her facial expressions can change, and you could take a picture and you couldn't even look at her and be like, is that the same kid? You're absolutely 100% right in that. And so she can blend in with a crowd. She can make herself unknown. But that's because she's just shy. She doesn't want to be standout. She's not. I think she tried to do some standout stuff, like this recent dyeing of her hair green. That was something new. I think that was her wanting to just try something different, create an
Right.
right.
She's a teen. She wants to explore different things.
Right, and she's an artist. She is an artist. She didn't take any of her art supplies. She didn't take her art book. She didn't take any of that. So she literally had left that behind the last couple of months. I noticed that has stopped. I always been by her canvas art supplies and new paint and everything. And then here we're noticing like she still has blank canvases. That's not normal. Normally those canvases would have been done and painted.
Yeah, so I hear you on that. My 14-year-old's the same way. And that is concerning too.
So it just tells me more and more that she was embedded into that. Now she shares a room with her sister. They both have devices. They both play, but I didn't think anything of it again because their door's always open. 2 of them are in there. I'm figuring, and a lot of times they're playing together, but apparently Destiny did tell me that they both would put headphones on and she wouldn't be able to hear Gracie's conversations. So shame on me.
That's normal though for PlayStation. That
don't
you go
say
into like
shame
chat
on
lobbies. Yeah, don't blame yourself.
Shannon, don't blame yourself. Please don't blame yourself.
I'll blame myself because I'm the gamer.
Yeah, Dad is here with us as well.
No, Dad, you don't blame yourself either. Please, y'all.
It's hard. I've always hated the PlayStation, but I've always allowed it because I'm like, okay, this is their outlet. I've snapped many a PS4 disc. I'm not gonna lie. I've snapped a $60 game in half without even thinking about it because it pissed me off,
Right.
And that pissed me off in return. But
yeah. But I didn't care, and I'm gonna. So it's, but you give in to your kids for things because everybody else is doing it, and you can't keep them off the internet. For Christ's sakes, they need internet for school.
Yeah. Yes.
They're given laptops from school, for Christ's sakes. So,
yep, and they can get on those laptops too on pretty much anything when they leave home.
Her school laptop was left behind, and we were able to get into that, and the school worked immediately and were able to download that stuff. But it is amazing what is on that laptop that is not school related.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, you think your kids are, I'm just going to a school computer. They're going to be fine. No, they're not. They will still find a way. There are still things they can get around, download, look up. So school computers are just as dangerous as a child's personal computer.
They are. I had a similar experience. I had to contact the school because of a situation like that. And the school was like, you need to look at her tablet from school. And they told me like how to look at everything. So yeah, if y'all have tablets for school for your kids, y'all please look at those.
Dude, and for whatever, and look at all their other accounts, because I'm telling you right now, for any account you think they have 10 more.
That's true.
I promise you that.
They at least have 2 more.
They at least have 2. There's at least a guarantee of them having 2.
One for parents and one for them.
And apparently you can have subnames under gaming devices. So not only do you have your screen name, you have subnames. So you don't see the subname when that logs in all the way. I am so confused. I've learned, again, rabbit hole. I've learned so much. Facial recognition things, the way that you can take your face and literally put it. I think I was watching your video.
Yeah.
You may have shared that. What the hell?
Yeah, that was scary. Wasn't it Sleuth Mom? Sleuth Mom, was it you?
Yeah,
You
I
and I
shared
that
that
did
on
it?
your channel last
Yeah.
time.
Yes. Yeah. That is
Yeah, the
scary.
sleuth mom. It was one of you. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I
she
was
was
like,
on
are
my
you
channel, and it gave me goosebumps everywhere.
Hey, Shannon, is this on what platform?
YouTube, baby? So just go YouTube Crime with Mel. That way you can go outside.
So, okay, you had said about
Sorry,
her
guys.
getting
Sorry.
like
No, you're fine.
basically the boyfriend at the old school and things like that. Is there any chance at all that she was still communicating with that boy
No,
and
no,
could
he
have
was
went
cleared.
there?
No, he
Okay.
was cleared. They now we went through 2 days of hell with that one because the boy's mom was being super protective, which I don't blame her. But she didn't know the RAD movement. RAD movement made contact first before detectives did. So she was put on, like, didn't know who this was. And apparently that boy, as a mother, I get it now. She gets contact from some group she doesn't know. And then some man calls her and says, this is who I am, but I can't prove that that's who I am over the phone. So she had to meet him the next day to get it to rule out that there was no connection there. Once she really knew that there was a detective involved and it wasn't just some random person who showed up at her house, which again, the RAD movement does things a little bit untraditionally sometimes because they are gung-ho. They're going to try to help. I mean, if they do find a child, they're going to go get that kid, regardless of what police say or anything. It's just, I'm thankful for that. We need more people like that because the police aren't doing a darn thing half the time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
So, but again, this boy was cleared. Anybody else at the school was cleared. All of her friends at school have said, no, she has online relationships. I thought she had a boyfriend online. Didn't she have a boyfriend online? Isn't his name? Yeah, I mean, no, they're online relationships that she's had. It wasn't her first rodeo getting in trouble a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We found some inappropriate text messages on a phone, which is why she didn't get a phone for 2 damn years.
That
We
was the
took it
other thing I
away.
was going to ask you was how long ago that was. So that was quite a while ago now.
Right. I mean, year and a half, almost 2 years. I wouldn't say a full, but and it was just who is this? Where did you meet him? Oh, I met him online. I met him through my flipping PlayStation. So, and I tried to tell the detectives this. I'm like, look, this isn't her first time trying to reach out to somebody. Now, I don't know if she's gone to somebody for a job or if she's gone to somebody because she's a 15-year-old boy crazy teenager. Come on. I mean, what 15-year-old isn't? And she may have been like infatuated and then the only if this person is like, I can help you with this, there's still somebody old enough to tell her to take a birth certificate, social security card. That's all I know.
Yeah,
Now,
that's definitely.
Somebody is her. It's now day 12, and somebody is feeding her and putting a roof over her head. If that's the case, if she's not in the worst case, which but if she is, gone again, I still don't feel that we're past the time of this being a kid's house that she's at. If that makes
Correct.
any sense.
Yes, it does.
We're beyond that. The
Right.
evidence shows other things. She would have screwed up somewhere in social media, checked her phone, done some type of activity, something. If a 15-year-old is just chilling and hanging out with her boyfriend.
Yes.
So,
You haven't had a PI yet.
a private investigator?
Yeah,
No, I can't afford one, honey.
I know. That's what I thought. I know
honestly,
you're
though, it sounds like the RAD movement is doing a lot of things that a private investigator would do.
exactly. That's what I was just about to
They
say.
absolutely are. I heard you
Yep.
talking on the podcast asking about the border. They've got connections at the Border Patrol. They've already got all the flyers down there. They are in with one of the head people at the San Diego County Sheriff's Department, which has actually lit a fire underneath underneath her detective. So since the RAD movement has moved in and been like persistent, my detective has been more cooperative. Like, he's been working nonstop, and I will say, sometimes you're not going to get a lot of communication. You don't get a lot of details. I'm not going to give you details. And I have a hard time with that because I myself am a crime junkie. Like, I'm like, why? I have all these questions. I've done my own detective work. I'm on this. I've always secretly deep down wanted to be a detective. And of course I feel like I've just set myself for disaster in my brain because now now I just think of all the
Yeah, you're
worst
going down through
costs.
every scenario.
Right. There's things like maybe I wish I didn't know all these things because it would make it so much easier if I didn't know.
Now, as far as the RAD movement goes, I know they helped you get the information from the computer. Have they checked your home internet to see like the IP address of the PlayStation and things like that to make sure the
Oh yeah.
PlayStation's not
Well,
getting logged
let
on?
me. They haven't necessarily checked it themselves, but let me tell you, my brother, who happens to be an IT person, went through the entire MAC addresses and gave him a complete Excel spreadsheet device list of all the devices that logged into my Wi-Fi. Like we've done our due diligence, man. We have done more work than the detectives, I feel like. I mean, when I have gone door to door and done my own ring camera investigation, like the neighbors sent me their ring camera footage, and then I went back to door and I found out that car that looks like that was that this person, and I confirmed with my neighbor that yes, they left at exactly that time that morning and were headed to work. I have, I don't know what else I can do. Where we put up flyers. The faster we flyer, the faster they're torn down. They're staying up in like store windows or neighborhoods, but the trolley systems, which is where they really need to be, the homeless out here are ripping them down faster than you can than you can put them up. I literally went on the trolley system and I know you guys, a lot of people are Midwest and back east and whatnot, but the trolley systems here kind of like same as they would be in Washington, D.C. or New York. And three stops away. I was only gone an hour. And from 3 stops to back to where I was, all the flyers I had put up were already ripped down. It's
not all of them, but a good majority.
I mean, maybe 1 or 2 left. But yeah, it's just.
But that was because of the homeless people ripping them down.
I know, baby.
The mentally ill people ripping them down.
I was going to say that actually happens a good bit in cases, and I've never really quite understood it.
Yeah.
But it happens so often.
I was thinking about that too myself, and I mean, I'm one of those. Let's analyze everything. What just maybe my thought process is, most homeless people and things like that, maybe they're missing themselves. And maybe if they're not being found, they don't think other people should deserve to be found either. I don't know. That's just one of those random thoughts in my head about why would you even think about ripping something down. We confronted one person, actually. She was rough for me. Right in front of my entire family. We were out. It was like day 3, I think. Day 2. And we were down at the one of the major transit stations where all 4 of the trolley lines come through. And the trolley transit police were like, absolutely, put them up wherever, you're fine, go ahead. And then we're turning around. Next thing we know, someone just literally takes it, this one woman, and just rips it down right in front of us and like stomps on it. And we're just like, wow. My husband immediately ran running over, and so did my daughters, who were a little kind of crazy too. And we're like, hey, what are you doing? And I mean, in the conversation, of course, she stood there. She said, I didn't know it was your daughter. I didn't know it was your daughter. And it's like, it doesn't matter if it was our daughter.
It was.
Yeah, you leave it up. If it's a missing person.
It was.
Right.
And that's what we told her. It doesn't matter whose daughter it is. It's somebody who's missing, and you are just
throwing it away.
Just throwing it away, being an ass.
Yep. Now I know y'all are probably already did this, but do y'all have like Ring doorbells? Is there anyone around y'all that have rings or cameras on their houses?
Here's that. We live in a cul-de-sac. Okay, so we have one way in and one way out of our street. You got to go somewhere. The end of my street is a big, huge 6 to 8 foot fence that she would have to climb over to get to the apartment complex next door, and that is just not what Gracie's going to do with a couple backpacks and
her PlayStation.
It's just just.
She would risk her injuring that.
And it's got spikes at it's got spiky points at the top of it. It's not something you're just going to hop over. So, only one way in, one way out. Again, like I said, I've gone up and down the streets to the neighbors and gotten whatever video footage that I could that they had. Here's the problem: most either, my video footage, my camera wasn't turned on, or it's literally facing at their car in the driveway and not the street.
I don't have service because it costs too much.
Right, they don't have their service turned on. I can't afford it right now. Gas in California right now, guys, is peaking at almost $7 a gallon.
Oh so my God! Do y'all have a GoFundMe account?
I do have a GoFundMe. I just feel awkward about sharing it. Like,
no.
I don't want to be like,
it's in
look at that mom.
Facebook group, you guys.
Yeah, when y'all go to the Facebook group, everyone in the chat, go to the Facebook group. If you can at all help this family, please, whatever you can spare, help them. They are
I don't want to
running
be begging
low.
for. I mean,
We're not the type
that's
to
what I'm
beg
saying.
for
I
it.
can't even
I'm
bring myself to share it myself.
I'm asking for y'all on y'all's behalf. I'm asking.
And I appreciate that. I do. You see, it's already there is some money in there, but that money right then, we've been out of work now 12 days. That 12 days, that was our paycheck for rent. So what the
Mhm.
GoFundMe has done, thank God, it's paid our rent this month.
Right.
But
And
our
like
rent
you
here in
said, gas.
California
I mean,
for our 3-bedroom house in California, our rent is $3,000.
that's insane. That is
So
insane.
so yeah,
And that's
so
on the cheaper end
and
of
that's
houses
yeah,
out
that's on
here,
the cheaper
guys.
end for what we have for housing. So
Um,
you when you put that, and now we've got $7 gas and all these other things, and minimum wage is definitely higher here, and but you still,
The cost of living
it's
is just as high.
I don't know, I can't even, like, I can't bring myself to do it, just because I can't be like, oh, look at her. And now, if you guys see
But stuff like
anything,
this
I
costs
do need
money.
to
yeah.
put this out
It
there.
just
There
does.
is you had mentioned before stepmom, and I had talked about, I am her
Yes,
mom.
I wanted to talk about that.
But before we do that, since everybody's out there knows that I am stepmom, but I am her. I have been her mom longer than that egg donor has,
Yeah, she is
and
her mom.
I am her mom, and that mom that woman does not have any rights to her. She's lost rights to her children twice now, and we have had custody from them for I can't even know how many years now. Since
11 years.
yeah,
I was
almost
gonna
11
say
years. So
the
this
Facebook post I last seen, I think, was like 2014. You guys took official custody.
yeah, we
I want
finally
to
got a
say.
fish. Yes, exactly. And then we moved to moved back to California in 2016. Now, what's going on is this woman, this vile woman, is taking Gracie's story
I
and
saw that.
putting it out there. Gracie and I were so close. Gracie and
Mm.
I, oh, Gracie, baby, please call me. If you see this, please call me. Mommy wants you home. Please call. If you guys have any clues or anything, please call her number, which is out there on the Facebook post, as well as the RAD movement. It's like she's trying to put out there that she's the mother. She's literally, I've been told, I can't find it yet, but I believe there's another GoFundMe out there in her
Mm.
for her. I'm trying to find that because that will be reported as fraud.
Yes,
But
please report that for sure.
she is putting pictures out there and putting herself out there that she's the one suffering and making herself the victim. And I'm just
Now, have police talked to her? Do you know? Like, I
I
mean,
did
is there
ask
any
Detective.
chance that anyone from her side of the family even would have been in contact with Gracie and
No.
went and picked her up?
No, we tried that. We went through that. I made sure that the detectives had that information just to be on the safe side. I was like, is she throwing us off by overly exaggerating the Facebook? But no, she's just literally using it for her own benefit. I don't feel like we've already, the RAD movement, I believe, has like done like reported CPS welfare check on her, and
Okay.
just to make sure that she's not there. And
Yeah.
we have done whatever we can to make sure ahead of time. And I've got friends out there, so the bio mom's actually not very far from my best friend, and they have two police officers that live on the same street, so they're driving by every day and keeping an eye on that house.
Okay.
So I've done my due diligence there. Like, if you aren't going to do it, then fine, I will get somebody who flipping will.
Yes. And
Mal,
y'all
do you want to add my screen back? I accidentally exited out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. So one thing I
I-
wanted to go back to is, the day that she went missing, the note. Can you tell us whatever you feel comfortable sharing about the note that she left?
So that's why the police focused so much on this, is initially being a runaway, because it literally states in her note, "Dear family, I've gone to a place for runaways. The woman who runs it is picking me up." Now, come on. That's not the way you're going to say, "I'm running away. I've gone to a place for runaways." Is this a state-funded abduction? Is this some funded program that they help runaways at, but they come to your home and pick up your kid? What is that? That doesn't happen. I've contacted all the youth facilities around here. I've done all that, and they have had no new intakes. And that is not how they do it. In any youth shelter, anything like that, if they can't get in touch with the parents to let them know that they're safe, they will contact the authorities. They cannot just take in a minor, regardless of the situation, without notifying somebody.
Right. And they definitely wouldn't drive to her house in the middle of the night to
pick me
come
up,
and pick her up.
No.
Nor would they have her bring her PlayStation, because
Or-
it would just probably end up stolen, to be honest, in a facility.
Right. If you're coming to this facility, do not take any of your personal electronics because they could be stolen.
Right.
Seriously, we all. But the officer
Now,
took the
was the
report.
note her handwriting?
Yes,
Was it for
100%.
sure her? Okay.
Yes, for sure.
And then I know that the last time you said you seen her was between 12 and 12:30. Is it typical for her to be up that late on a school night?
So we are a late night family. I don't get home from work sometimes until 8 o'clock. I've been recently promoted from lead medical assistant, and I've also taken on responsibilities of office manager. We had a huge transition going on at work, so I've been working extra long hours. I was down nurses because when I was on maternity leave throughout the summer, so I was working really, really long hours. So sometimes I wouldn't even get dinner started. We wouldn't even eat dinner until 9 p.m.
Okay.
By that time, it's just by the time those things regulate and I'm talking to my kids and everything. Now the younger ones know they'd have to, but Gracie was older and she was literally up every day at 5:45 with me getting ready for work or school. I didn't even have to wake her up. She would get up on her own with her own alarm clock and get up and get dressed and go to school.
She's
Most of the
really
time you have to drag your
responsible.
kids. Most of the times you have to drag them out by their ear, throw water on them, get up, get the heck out of bed. She wasn't like that. She up every day. When I would get out of the shower, I'd go check, and there she would be, sitting in her bed, already showered, working on her makeup.
She wasn't the normal teen where you had to pry out of bed.
No.
Now, did her and her sister ever play together on the video games? Like, is there a screen name that her sister would remember her playing with most often? So obviously, you don't have to share it, but...
Right, her screen name was definitely the one that she used most often. She pretty much uses the same tag. Now, I can't go into a lot. The detectives have asked me not to give out gamer tags or anything else like that at this point because it's hindering the investigation. Okay. I had my own experience tonight with one of our own family members who said, oh, look, we found this. She was active so many days ago. And then when we finally went down and really got it the correct thing.
Yeah. Her last active day was September 22nd. She hasn't been active since she disappeared.
Right. So, today was one of my oh my God, she was active 3 days ago. We found a sub name. We found this, blah, blah, blah. No. So my heart
honestly, it would have showed.
I was so excited. And I was like, yes, she's okay. And then no.
It would have showed whenever I pulled it up because I researched her profile. So 3 days ago is whenever I researched her profile. And so it likely logged that it was active whenever I researched it. And so I apologize that I gave you guys a false hope, I guess.
Well, I mean, it may not have been you because there's a million other people who are working on this too, which is why I'm at this point, what is a hindrance? What is a help? I don't even know what to, I definitely, they're don't tell people this, or you can tell people that, or, if you put this out there and there's too many people working on this, it might make the detectives be like, oh, look, there's a hit, but no, that hit was somebody else, just like you said. So but you just want everybody to try to be helping you. You do. Yeah. And you want every little bit of help, and everybody's sending me, you need to call this group and you need to call this group. Well, the problem is once you call those people, they're like, well, I need this and I need this and I need this and I need this. And you end
up going through the same thing
500 times. It's exhausting.
And I'm still back at square one because the devices that are in question that I do have are in hands of others. I can't help you with this. This has already been downloaded to that. What I do know has already been ruled out. So at this point, I have nothing new to give you. I don't know what to call. To call other people to help. I have nothing new to give. Everything I've given has been ruled out.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was trying to streamline. And I know Mal was kind of the same way. I know you've been talking to both of us, but if we can kind of streamline getting you on here and then that way people can share the interview and share clips from it rather than you having to go to, 50 different channels and tell the same thing to everybody.
Yes. Just a time saver too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be again, because I don't know how many more times I can go through it. Some days, sometimes I feel like I'm where's the tears? Why are the tears not there anymore? What happened? But they're there, but they're not there. And then all of a sudden then the flood comes, or, the roller coaster of emotions is, I've never, I don't even know. I just want my baby back. That's all I know is just out there. I just don't understand how her footprint can just disappear. I don't understand how she can just make herself disappear. She didn't just do this on her own. She is not that tech savvy. I am telling everybody out there
No.
right now.
She
is
had
not.
help.
She had help. Somebody convinced, maybe she got groomed out thinking I'm going to go live with my boyfriend and we're going to live happily ever after. And then all of a sudden her boyfriend turns to be 40 years old and, it won't let her out of the dang place that she's at. Or I end up, do I go and travel through the encampments, looking through the trafficking rings? What direction do I go? I don't know at this point. All I know is she met them online, whatever direction that takes us.
Yep.
And if I have to go through the encampment routes, then, all the hits that you supposedly hear, they're hitting one station. What that happens out here in San Diego for the trafficking ring is they start at what we call Old Town San Diego, where the first location goes. And then they roll on through to what's called Sports Arena area, which is another trolley stop location. But they stay at these locations for a little while. They move the kids at night. They keep them lying low during the day. Basically, I'm not saying that this is a Gracie situation. This is the typical trafficking ring situation here in San Diego, what I have learned. From the moment the child gets into the vehicle or gets into the car, they're immediately hit up with their first dose of fentanyl or heroin, something to make them basically completely submissive.
Yes.
And then from there they go and they start their transport, their travel, whatever they're doing. So again, the first stop typically is the Old Town area. There's lots of homeless encampments down there. They keep them quiet during the day, and then during the night is when they start to move. They may keep them steady for 2, 3, 4, 5 days before they start to rotate them. So then you move on to the next station. Then that moves them a little bit closer. And then they do the same thing. They rotate in this next area. Then the final area is San Ysidro, which is right down at the border. From the border, you can just walk right over. I was talking to, I think, Mal earlier today, and I don't think everybody realizes that you don't need documents to get into Mexico. You only need them to come back.
And that's disgusting.
You literally can walk right over, drive right over. If you drive over, I suggest don't make an eye contact with a federale because they may pull you over and bribe you. But if you don't make eye contact and you just drive through, you're just driving by all the federales with their big old AK-47s and stuff. Scary as hell, let me tell you. But they don't stop you. They don't care. There's no identification check, and you just drive on in. Same thing with walking in.
And you guys have been to Mexico recently, haven't you?
We we were gonna move there. We were at a point that we were financially unable to make it here in San Diego, and I had friends who lived down there. And again, it's not so far-fetched for people in San Diego to travel back and forth across the border.
Did she know anyone there?
No, this process that was down there, she only went down there twice with us.
Okay.
It was just for the weekend. So no, she never got to meet anybody or anything like that down there. It wasn't even like that. So, but the travel, again, you just walk right over and come back. All you need is your birth certificate to come back. You don't, for a child, you don't even need a picture ID.
Wow. So she could have crossed the border and met somebody online, even in Mexico, and crossed the border knowing that she'd be able to get back with her birth certificate.
Yep.
And then I know you said that she had applied for her real ID as well already.
I had applied for her real ID. I have her real ID in my wallet. She didn't know where those were. I kept those in my wallet. So I have all 3 of my kids' real IDs in my wallet. So she's got her thumbprint on file.
That's good. Now, somebody said her call records from her phone. I believe you said this. There have been none. Her phone is turned off.
The phone hasn't turned on since 9/21.
Yes. Yes. Did she have any money?
Maybe $40 to her name in her piggy bank.
Okay. And she didn't take that.
No, she did take it.
Okay. She did take that.
She did take that.
I mean, that's not going to do anything. Yeah.
I mean, that's not even going to buy you a train ticket at the Amtrak station.
Yeah, I don't know. $40 is not going to do nothing. Maybe.
What time of day did you guys report her missing? When did you guys officially call 911? It was right off the bat then.
I called it about 7:15 and they showed up about 7:30. Then that was on Thursday morning, and then nobody else contacted us until Monday early afternoon.
But we had contact with the sheriff's department on Friday.
Oh yeah, if y'all want that story. So the Rancho San Diego Sheriff's Department was the one who originally took the call. They came out, they saw the word runaway on the paper, put her down, listed her as a runaway, make a quick report, threw her in the system. From that point on, I went back down the next day, and I went and I was like, why haven't I heard anything? Why has nobody contacted me? What is going on? And that's when I was informed that detectives don't work weekends. So, first of all, I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, what the hell you mean detectives don't work weekends? Our kids go missing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't stop going missing. Why do you get to go fishing? Like that just not at all cool. So still didn't hear anything on Friday. I was waiting. We were trying to get a deputy or detective's name. Finally, the sergeant, what is it? The lieutenant, the big head honcho, whatever is at that station. Lieutenant, sergeant, one of them two, comes out to me and says, well, the detective can't come talk to you. He's working on the case, but I'm just going to let you know, there's nothing we can do right now. The report has been filed and the detective will call you. Here's his name. Here's the field office number. Try to give him a call, but nobody's going to be in until Monday. And then I was like, well, why is this? Well, who's looking for my child? He literally said verbatim, we do not have the manpower to go door to door looking for every child that goes missing. Verbatim.
Wow.
I just looked at him.
This is law enforcement, y'all.
This is law enforcement. This is the head honcho at the Rancho San Diego division. Like, they have a field. There's always a big guy in charge at one building.
Right.
I don't know what their names are, but so I obviously left completely just heartbroken. So I waited, and then we came home, and that's when Alan found the RAD movement online, and we called them, and I'm telling you, within 30 minutes, they had my kid's high school laptop unlocked by the Grossmont High School district.
That's amazing.
Within 30 minutes, they had already done that because they've had their contacts. They immediately had me contact the Centers for the National Centers for Missing and Exploited Children. They immediately had me contact the Polyclass Foundation to get posters and stuff organized and start getting that stuff going, getting her in the system, getting her in the database. This was the RAD movement, not the police department, not the sheriff's department, not anybody else who was of authority to try to help me when my child has gone missing. No, a nonprofit organization, which is the only ones that are actually out there to care about our kids. So after they've done all this due diligence, that's where we started finding these leads. When we talked about the boy Kyle, who found those leads first? The RAD movement, not the detectives. So on Monday, I go down finally back to the Rancho San Diego Sheriff's Department, first thing Monday morning, 8 a.m. I'm like, fine, he's going to be here at 8 a.m. I go to talk to the detective who's supposedly in charge of her case. He goes, I'm sorry, you've been misinformed. I'm not in charge of her case. I don't know who is. What? You still don't know who's in charge of my kid's case? What is going on? It has been 4 days now, and she has been gone 4 days, and nobody has even bothered to look at her name. So he says he comes back an hour later after he says, let me go try to find something. An hour later, we're sitting in this stupid office waiting in the waiting room in the lobby. He comes back an hour later, says, I don't have a name for you yet, but I gave him your information and they'll be calling you soon. What? Okay, fine. At this point, we're not sitting around any longer. We're going to do something else. So we go down to Gracie's school. We'd already been down there on Friday. So they already knew, the situation and whatnot, and they were being cooperative because of the laptop. So then we go back on Monday. We go to the school. We talk to the SRO on campus, and he ends up finding the detective's name for me, tells me, and then the detective calls me within 2 hours. So then there's where we start. So that's like 11 o'clock before I hear from her detective about her case at all. 4 days, he starts to investigate. He goes through all the leads that the RAD movement had found, ruling out all these kids, as well as their own kids that they had found, because they did get the intelligence department on it. They found through the school laptop names and relationships and blah, blah, blah. But everybody has been ruled out. Every kid, every conversation, every car, anything that she actually did have in person was ruled out. Obviously, now the detective told me today that they're going over stuff, which tells me that they don't have crap. We're going over all the stuff that we've already ruled out. Great. So, Friday, I ask him for an update, and he literally emails me and says, "I'm off today. I'll be back in the office on Monday." What? It's day 9, and you've been working on the case for 4 days.
And the frustrating thing about this is, if this was his kid,
he'd be on it. He'd be on it. No time off.
No time off. 100%. 24 hours a day. Every single deputy, every single person in that sheriff's department would be on it.
Yep. And that is what's frustrating, is that we can't get these law enforcement to treat these missing children like they were their own.
Part of the
Now,
problem, though, is, Mal, like, this is so widespread.
Yeah.
There are so many missing in every single department, in every single area, plus the rise in regular crime, that these agencies literally can't investigate every single child. And unless it's your kid, most people just don't even bat their eyes. They don't
Yep.
even notice that, you know, how many kids are missing. I mean, there's
Well,
38 in Gracie's town.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
Right
you
now.
also got to think about how many are may be possibly connected.
that they're not
You
even. Oh,
know,
here's the
Exactly.
other thing. Here's the other thing. So apparently, the San Diego Police Department and the San Diego Sheriff's Department don't even work together. So there was another child. There's another thing that just absolutely infuriated me. My daughter goes missing on Thursday from the San Diego Sheriff's Department. She's the one that they're the one in our jurisdiction. Another child goes missing on Monday from the San Diego area, and another part of it, but their jurisdiction is the San Diego Police Department. That child was put on the news instantly
That night.
with a note. She also left a goodbye note,
well,
but that child was put
She
on
was
there.
found now, right?
She was found. She was found. Was it because they put her on the news right away and it got her picture out there and ran the choppers and put the choppers overhead, put all that stuff out there for her for her? Now, I don't know. And I'm
yep.
so happy she was found. Don't get me wrong. But my point of the story is, why did Gracie get ignored for 4 days?
4 days.
And this other
Yeah.
one who went missing was immediately put on there. It's because the police departments didn't work together. One of the news stations told me, who had originally contacted me about Gracie, then this other girl's story goes on the air. He had not contacted me again for a couple of days because, again, the police had just reported her as a runaway. That's not a story. So they kind of blew it off. So when he saw this report of this girl going on the news, when he finally talked to me 2 days later and put a connection together, he said, I thought that girl was your daughter. I didn't even know
Wow.
that there was
Wow.
2 separate cases.
Oh my god.
That's what we're dealing with. Not to mention the fact that the day that my Gracie went missing, the RAD movement found a Grace the same day. So now I've got people online going, oh, that Gracie was found. Locals.
No.
Oh no, she was found. She was found. That Grace was found. No, that Grace was found. But my Gracie
It's
is
not
still
your
missing.
Gracie.
That's not my Gracie.
It's my Gracie. It's my
That's our Gracie. So there's so many things that have just been hindrance to the case. My neighbors across the street, I forgot to say this, they have a ring camera and surveillance cameras going all the time, right? The night Gracie disappeared, they took the batteries out to charge them.
Wow.
What are the odds? What are the odds?
Wow.
And my neighbors are good people. They have kids. Their kids are the same age as ours. They play together. Like, you know,
Mhm.
it's when I came banging on their door, they immediately, I mean, my poor neighbor came in her underwear. What is the matter? You know, what's going on? And immediately, and then she looks at her husband. Her husband looks at me. He goes, I took the batteries out last night. Like, what the?
I bet they're feeling guilty too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mm.
I'm sure. You know, but what do you do? It just seems like that's the God Mercury in retrograde, man. I don't know if anybody
Yep.
believes that, but I keep
Yeah, I
hearing
do.
Mercury, and I'm like, right now, I hate Mercury.
Right. Can it move along now, please?
Because
Well,
I mean, I'm telling you, my whole family's getting hit. My daughter, Gracie's older sister, had a false CPS complaint come in on her during this time.
mm,
So, which actually helped me because that made me it ruled out Gracie being at her older sister's house. So,
right.
I mean, there's that, you know, but she's unfortunately dealing with that, and we had to send her, and because her heater was broken, and she has a new baby, and I mean, stupid stuff. So we sent her the money to get the heater fixed, you know, like, yeah. There's that. My other daughter just apparently found out that she's got to have to move because they're, you know, when you have multiple roommates and stuff, and then they want to move, they want to do things with the house. Guess what? You're up and out. There you go. When you just rent a room. Yeah. So
everything like, at once, always, never, always. Nothing ever happens on its own.
Mercury in retrograde can kiss my hind end.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Ellen.
Yeah, and we're trying to be as positive as possible. I mean, we're at day 12 now, people. I mean, we're trying to still
Don't lose hope, guys.
I just try to keep positive, you know, and sometimes have a little bit of humor in some of the situations. But there's more despair. It's just more despair than anything. And again, I can't stop my own crime brain
Right.
from going into those bad places.
I've seen a lot of people talking about a private investigator. Guys, not only is it financially not a feasible
Possible.
thing, but also the
RAD
RAD
movement.
movement is really doing an amazing job
They
at doing
really
a
are.
lot of things that private investigators would typically do.
Right.
The only thing that they wouldn't have access to that private investigators may is like the more detailed background checks, but it sounds like they even have connections that can get those for them.
We've actually got in contact with they sent us over someone today who works with Homeland Security.
Okay.
So
great. I mean, they've got contacts that sounds like everywhere.
Yeah.
We literally sat down with somebody who goes and picks up the kids who have gone internationally. So, and the RAD movement, I will say they have a 100% return rate as of now. They've been around for 2 years, and every single child they have gone looking for, they have found. I will not let Gracie be their first cold case.
No, we will not.
I will not. You will not be their first cold case. So they are there. There is literally 21 people who volunteer their time pretty much nonstop, full time, give up their own time, their own hours, their own everything to consistently do this. They have people from IT to people who they have connections with. I mean, it is an amazing group of people. So spread the word. And they don't just help us here in San Diego. They literally just recovered a girl from Florida. They have, there's been 3 that they have picked up in Mexico. They do it. They don't care if they find a child. They're not waiting for the cops to show up. They're going to kick down that door and go get that baby.
Good for them.
So, you know, screw warrants, screw whatever. If they have eyeballs and they saw that, they're going in, and they will send you. They will return your child with you. They will send the parents to pick up the child and go with them and escort them. And it just anybody, and it does not matter where you are. If you are in any state, reach out to this group because they are fantastic.
RAD, R-A-D.
The RAD movement.
Yes, RAD
somebody,
movement.
but they're the only
Let me
ones
get
that
their
are helping
website.
me.
Somebody.
Yeah, RAD.
Yeah, not yeah,
And they
RAD.
are a nonprofit group, and
Yes.
they actually started because of the fact that it, from what I think she said on her news interview, it was because she had actually had a runaway child that needed help being found, and she had nobody, and so now she does this to help.
Yep, 5 days she went through it as well. So it was 5 days before they located her daughter. All the people pretty much that are volunteering, you know, I've talked to a lot of them. They've all had their own stories. Most of their kids were, and that's pretty much the story. The group keeps growing because every child that gets found, you join in, and I guarantee you, I will always, regardless of Gracie's outcome, I will still help and support them because they've done more for us than anybody. And
we're going to find Gracie. They are going to find Gracie.
Or left behind, and nobody just disappears.
No.
Sorry.
Nobody just disappears.
That first link that I put, that's not the right link, and it won't let me delete it. I put the .com instead of .org. This is the correct link for the RAD movement. And so they've
there's
really
like
been
something called the
helping
RAD
this
Kids
family.
or something.
Yeah, I clicked on it and I was
Yeah,
like, wait a second, that is definitely not it.
No. Yeah,
So the
it's a
second
black
one
and white
is
page.
it.
It's very, very simple. It's
Yep.
very, very just straight to the point. Not a lot of on there until you go to the about and I'll read it. But again, their success rate, we found it, and I she's not going to be there. We're going to continue. It's going to be 100%. Continue to be 100% return rate.
Yes,
Coming
absolutely.
home.
Also, the RAD movement's phone number is in the banner down at the bottom, y'all. If y'all want to write that number down just in case,
And
that's their number.
And let me just put this out there as well. You know, so tips going to the sheriff's department are not getting to the detectives. I had a situation today where somebody called in a tip. They did not want to give their personal information. They wanted to call in an anonymous tip. Dispatch wouldn't take it. So they ended up calling the RAD movement. Well, when I talked to the detective today, apparently I dropped the ball and the tip didn't get put out there right away. So the detective's looking at it now, but detective didn't get the tip because dispatch didn't deliver it because they didn't want to give him a name. A tip is a tip.
Yeah.
And I get it.
You follow through on all tips.
Right. And I mean, the detective explained it to me. They probably did it. He's going to follow up himself and find out what the hell happened. But, and again, since the media's gotten involved and there's all this thing, the detective's doing his due diligence. He's been active. He's been, he even worked on Sunday. Like the RAD movement got his butt up out of bed. Okay. Because we had a tip that came in, which turned out to be completely, I mean, it wasn't completely false. I'm not going to put that out. I'm going to say the tip that came in was, man, if it didn't sound like it was her. And when I got the picture and the video footage, it literally was Gracie 3 years ago.
Oh,
So it was heartbreaking. It was a little girl with green hair with pajama pants. And she got out of a moving van with an older man. And it turns out that it was definitely not her. I saw the video footage. I could completely
You know
guarantee
what,
it was
though?
not
That's
her.
still amazing because that means that people are
or
looking.
looking, yeah.
And here's the best thing about it. This gentleman, I just can't, but he's going to be an amazing father himself because he saw this at 1 o'clock and didn't see the news report till 8 p.m. And he remembered it because he said this girl stood out. It was very
Oh,
odd that he saw in the electronics section and she looked like she was just like in her pajamas and dirty. But, you know, realistically, it was a moving van. He had bought a blow dryer. I don't know. I don't know the situation. Let's all pray and hope that it was just her daddy and they were moving across country because it was an actual physical moving van with a moving company that we
oh,
found on the video footage. So, you know, but again, the fact that people are out there looking, the descriptions, but he was spot on. Now the other descriptions, the other possible sightings, they've not been all accurate, which is one of the things I've been told too. The detectives told me putting her out there also could be a hindrance because then you get a million tips that they're chasing that aren't where they need to be headed.
and
That's
I get
true. But
that,
at the same
but
time,
yeah, mm-hmm.
it's definitely, I mean, to me, it's worth it. I know that the detectives don't like running in circles, but
A tip is
Well,
a tip.
a tip
yeah.
is a tip, except when you have one detective working on all 38 of those cases, guys. We have
Yeah,
one
that's
detective in
Have
San
they
Diego.
talked about bringing the FBI in at all
or any other source.
or
So
any other
I went to
agencies?
the FBI myself on Friday when I was told that the detective wasn't working anymore for the weekend, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done waiting. So I went down there myself, and I ended up the only detective. Apparently Fridays it's a thing, guys. Detectives, FBI, everybody. Now FBI, they have one agent on Friday. One.
Mm.
So it's a thing. I don't get it, but it's a thing. They get the weekends off. I don't understand why not stagger a schedule, you know. But anyway, the FBI agent. Well, first of all, we get there, and security goes, well, today's not a visitor day, and I don't know that anybody's going to come down and talk to you, but I will definitely give him a call. So just stand here for a second. And he made a phone call, and he says, I'm waiting on another call back. And a few minutes later, he says, someone's going to come down and talk to you. And I was like, great, awesome. But I mean, he literally looked shocked, like look of shock, because I was already told, even by the RAD movement and all that they weren't going to be able to do anything, that they wouldn't be able to do anything like that. So, but he actually came down and he talked to me and I told him everything. And he took the information and he's told me, unfortunately, until it is proven trafficking, sexual exploitation, or cyber like behaviors or something like that, they
Yeah,
don't
cyber
have
crimes.
jurisdiction. Right.
Right.
They don't have jurisdiction. And until there's physical proof of that, now granted, the moment they can find something through those devices, or if they're able to log in or find a message or find a picture that was sent from somebody and you know whatever, then they can get involved. But unfortunately, the feds, who are the people who really are the ones that can do the investigating, can't get involved until those protocols are met.
Right.
It sucks.
And whenever you got one guy working on it besides your agencies that are volunteering, that's going to be a
Right.
slow process. And
Yeah.
He's one guy. I
she
mean,
doesn't have.
he's got a team, of course, but he's the one lead detective on 38 missing person cases.
That's too much.
He can't do it all. So I can't really
No.
begrudge him. I
Right.
can't. As much as I'm like,
He's
why aren't you
overwhelmed.
doing this for my kid? I'm like, but why aren't you doing this for the 38 other the 38
Right.
others?
Right.
I'm a medical assistant. I've worked in pediatrics for 23 years. My heart is children. I have been a mom, a stepmom, a foster mom, a grandmom. I mean, I'm a grandma of 2 also. I got every mom holiday covered, guys. Got them all. They're all covered. And I'm a failure. I let somebody take my baby.
You're
I
not a
don't
failure.
understand. How did this happen? How did I?
You're not a failure, Shannon.
I just don't
But we're
understand.
the grandparents of 3.
Oh, 3. That's right. I forgot I forgot. Lindsay just had a baby. He's only 4 weeks
Ellen's
old.
like, you're missing one.
That's right. We got Lindsay. We just got our little Hudson was just born.
Shannon, please don't call yourself a failure. Please don't.
I just can't help but feeling like that. Like, who allows their child to just disappear? How I should have known more. I feel like I just don't. I don't know.
I feel like if
everybody
anything
goes
comes
through
from this, it's going to be the awareness that good kids go missing too.
Yep.
You know,
And
it's not just the
kids with
troubled
no
ones. It's not
signs,
just your-
with
bad things happen to good people too.
It's not just your kids who are like ditching school and doing drugs and it doesn't, like I at one point when Gracie got, like I told you guys last year when she got in trouble, I was just like, I came home one day, I just had, I was like, pee in a cup, and she was just looked at me, she goes, fine, and she peed in the cup, and it came back clean. Like I was like, dang it, like.
We did something, kid.
Seriously. I mean, she literally looked at me and was like, fine, here you go. Like, I'm not doing anything. Stop being, I'm like, fine. She wasn't a bad kid.
Right.
I mean, I use my own clout a little bit working in a doctor's office, pediatricians. I was like, yo, order this kid test for my kid. I need to know. Like, but no, she's a good little girl. Shy. She wouldn't even go to like if you went to the pulled up, had a gas station and she had to go pee, she wouldn't go into there without her sister. She'd be like, no, go with me.
Yeah.
It's
Even
so odd that she
downstairs.
didn't confide in her sister to tell her what was going on.
Yes. Or even say if she was talking to anyone.
Well, like I said, there's some leads and stuff out there. Yeah. We just can't find these leads. So again, because the names that we have are all in that magic black box.
Right.
And that magic black box is missing with all the information. And let me just, and I'll tell you the one thing that has all the information right now is my little Chihuahua Shih Tzu, Frankie. If dogs could talk, man, because that little man right there knows everything.
Yep.
Everything. And and even the dogs, even my dogs are like my Frankie, her dog, which was Gracie's pup. He is laid by that front door consistently every day, just waiting on her to come back.
Oh.
And Luna, I'm so mad at myself because in the middle of the night that she disappeared, my husky pounced on me twice in the middle of the night, like made me mad. I got up, I let her out twice in the middle of the night. I let her out twice in the middle of the night. I didn't even notice that she was gone. What the?
Well, I mean, you're not going to think about that. You're half asleep, getting up,
My dog was telling me.
Yeah. But in hindsight, you think that now. But in the moment, don't blame yourself for that because I don't think I would have paid attention to that either. And I know looking back, you're like, damn it, if I only just looked.
Yeah, it's just, yes, you're right, Candace. Dogs know. They know. They do. Yes. They know. And she knew. She woke me up twice. So, and like I said, I was mad at her. I let her out. And when I let her out outside, she laid in the yard.
Oh.
And I was like, which wasn't uncommon.
It's not normal.
She's done it before. She like
right.
when you're a dog, but not very often would she do that. But that night, it was twice that night. Twice. And I was like, what did you eat that made you have to go to the bathroom?
Right.
No, it wasn't. She was just trying to be a good girl and let mommy know. Like, sorry, she's sitting here in front of me right now giving me loves.
And she knows you're sad.
And she does. She's a good girl. She's a good dog. But
so I know the news has been like talking to you guys more frequently now. Do they have any plans to do you guys have any plans to do like any like awareness type events? Like a lot of people will do like vigils and different things like that within the community or trying to. Okay.
Well, all 3 out of the 4 news stations are that have done in like interviews, actual live stuff,
Mhm.
are spinning the missing child thing now, like the
Okay,
lured
good.
possibility. But one news station, I think it's ABC, no, CBS is still just putting out there, runaway.
No.
Police detectives still have her listed as a runaway. Like, stop it.
Right.
Stop it. I mean, this is not your typical, we're 12 days now.
She's not a runaway, dude.
You know, most of them typically have done something to give themselves a footprint.
Right.
Again, my kid is, and the ones that do really run away are those ones that are typically have some behaviors before.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
So
Now, I wanted to say too, though, to anybody, like if she is in fact a runaway and you are an adult and you are housing her and helping her be a runaway, perhaps hiding her at your home in the state of California, that is completely illegal. You can
yes,
actually serve prison time as well as have to pay a $2,500 fine.
I
And
believe
so
that's
please
incorrect.
keep that in mind. What's
I
that?
want to say that I believe that's incorrect. The RAD movement told me that if a parent, or even the detectives told me, if a parent is put, now maybe there might be a time limit on this, but this is what we went through when we were investigating that her so-called boyfriends online, or her boyfriend from school last year. If Gracie was in that home and the parent felt that they were doing it to protect that child, they would not be in trouble in any way.
Really?
Yes.
that
See, I know that it's not a crime for the child themselves to run away, but
Right.
harboring a runaway
No,
is.
because at that point, no, because the child could be spinning the story. My parents beat me. My parents do this. My parents do that. They're mean to me. So,
I
in a
think
lot of
they have
times,
to
what
file. I think they have to file a thing
their
though to let them know that it was for a
protection order or something,
for
there may be some
protection.
type of
Yes.
timeline. But what the
Yeah,
time
because
that I was
I'm
asking
on
about it,
California's page right now, and it does says the state of California makes the offense a misdemeanor to harbor a runaway.
right,
Twenty five
misdemeanor. There
hundred
you go.
dollar fine.
Big deal. Like, what is that? So there you go.
Yep.
And so you're no,
but the
that's like a
thing
slap on
is,
the wrist.
the thing that worries me with calling her a runaway is she brought her phone and all that, and none of it has been accessed. It's been turned
Right.
off.
If
Right.
you're a
So what
runaway and you've taken those
teenager
things, you're gonna do it. You're gonna access it.
exactly what teenager takes all that stuff with the intent to use it? Obviously, that's why she took it, and not use it.
Exactly. But yet again, here we have her listed as a runaway.
Rachel, she
Still,
has maybe $40.
listed, even still, with all the evidence that we have and what everything, all of it, still, the sheriff's department just has her listed as a runaway.
See, and
Not
that's
a
crazy.
missing person, no high risk, no danger. Another thing is, if in the state of California, if you're over the age of 11, you're not on psych medication, and you're not a risk at hurting yourself, you're not considered high risk.
And that's ridiculous.
So any
There,
child 12 and over is apparently able to take care of themselves, people. Just throwing that out there. Apparently your 12-year-old child, if they ran away, it's okay. They're able to take care of themselves.
That's
please
crazy.
share this wherever you can. Everyone in the chat, please share.
Tell people, tell everybody.
Yep.
Tell everybody about the travel, how easy it is to get to Mexico,
Yep.
how detectives don't work weekends, how, I mean, everything we have talked about. Tell everybody all of it, because it's the only way we're going to be able to advocate it and change it. Because my daughter's case is not the only one. And there's many other cases that have gone through the same situation that I am, not getting the media coverage, not getting their kid's face out there, being ignored, their child just being listed as a runaway, not listening to the guts of the mom. I'm sorry, but a mother's intuition is a real thing. It is
Absolutely.
a 100% real thing, and anybody who's a mama knows.
Absolutely. So Heather wanted to know, is there anywhere in her room, like a notebook or anything, that she would write down passwords, etc., to shy gaming or devices maybe?
We've found all that. We've given it to detectives. Nothing as they haven't told us they've gotten into anything yet. We found everything we knew as far as passwords to be changed back early August. So it doesn't help us with now, and she was again, she wasn't in trouble, so we didn't go checking everything.
Right.
We had everything accessible and knew everything as of August, and at least, and then that's when Again, check your. I don't know what to say. Unless you check your kids' stuff every single day, there's just no way to know.
No,
No
there's
way.
Absolutely.
And you tell me one of us that's going to be able to sit down every single day and go through every single social media account and every single email, every single text message that your child does.
I will say that there are apps that can help with that, such as M-Spy. We
Spy.
talked about that
Yep.
last time. Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
I
they
will.
send you like an email with with all of their stuff that they've done. And I guess if you're like trying to read word for word, absolutely everything that they're doing, it's never going to happen, right?
Right.
You can't possibly do it with as much as they're on, but it is nice to be able to like scroll down through everything that happened and like look for keywords, look for things that might stand out.
Right.
But
Exactly.
again,
Except
hindsight,
unless.
and
Uh,
if you don't have that program in place, it's something to think about for in the future. Anybody in the audience with kids, especially. But it's just, I don't know. This whole situation is just hard. I mean, there's nothing really that you guys could have really done to know or prevent this, and in the moment, the way that it was.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There. Another. Oh, I forgot my train of thought. I was going to say something else with them. Oh, as far as the chats and all that, and trying to even investigate what your kids are into. Another thing for people to be aware about is those games like Fortnite and Apex. They use a platform that's called Whisper. It's basically like Snapchat. The moment they log out, it disappears. There is no trace of any conversations or anything that they've had. So even if you think that there's a trace of it, there's not. It's gone.
Mm.
So my suggestion
And
to
I don't
people, because my
understand
kids from
why
here
they
on
have
out will
these.
never have a microphone or a headset again.
Right.
I mean, it's just done. You can play. They may be able to play, but you will not be communicating with them.
It's crazy to me how all these platforms have these different secret ways of hiding conversations. It's like, you do realize our children are on these.
Right. Right. And
It literally disgusts me.
yeah, what person is thinking that this is okay? That's
Right.
okay. Privacy. And I'm sorry, but I'm at the point now that after going through what I'm going through, children don't deserve as much privacy as they're given.
No,
They really don't.
they don't.
Because the privacy just gets them into trouble. And they
Yep.
think they know everything. They think
Mm-hmm.
they think that they're the most intelligent people in the world, and parents are stupid, and they're never going to figure this out. And
Yep. My 14-year-old tells me all the time when I look at her stuff, she hasn't had a phone since April, and I refuse to give her a phone because she was actually talking to strangers on an app called Discord.
Yep, that's yep.
Yep. And I took her phone away, and she's like, "You don't give me privacy. You're invading my privacy." I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Baby girl, you are 14 years old and you live under my roof.
my
My
roof.
job
Yeah.
is to protect you. Whether that makes you, if you could have privacy, like, I'll let you change in your room in private and stuff like that. But when it comes to electronics that I pay for,
You're not getting it.
no."
Yeah, and that's why Gracie lost her phone for almost 2 years. I didn't learn how to
Right.
cell
And you
phone.
are doing the right thing.
But she
And
was going to a new high school. She was going to have to start our schedules changed. She was going to have to start walking home from school.
right.
So I was like, I need to make sure I can get a hold of her. We were now 3 kids, 3 different schools. It wasn't even like I had typically I always had Colton and Destiny together at the same school because they were close enough in age, but Destiny had moved on to middle school. And so here we are now at 3 schools and all in separate locations. And I'm like, okay, I have to figure this out. I have to be able to let them talk to each other. They have to be able to call and say, you can't avoid it. And it's here in California, you don't want them walking home ever because it's just too many people. But
Scary.
sometimes you have no choice.
Right.
And typically it's typically okay as long as they all leave school at the same time. Typically it's like a
Yeah,
herd, a
because there's a
massive like
group of people. Yeah.
right,
A group of
exactly. Now
kids.
when she would have her driver's ed class was after school on Mondays and Wednesdays, and she never walked home those days because it was
Way too
she
far.
got picked up, it was too late, and it would just be by herself. It didn't happen. Like she was picked up from school. She I think she only walked home from school twice, honestly, in the entire time. She gets picked up every day. She wasn't gone on the weekends. Never asked to go out with anybody.
She's just a good girl.
Just a good girl.
Very
Just,
good girl.
she's a good girl.
No, I said she's just a
Just
good
a
girl.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
No.
No, I did not use it as past tense. I promise you.
No.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
That's what
no.
we don't understand.
I did not hear the past tense from you at all.
Okay. Yeah. I
No.
don't want. Yeah.
No, I did not. No, you're good. You're good. You're
Okay.
good.
Okay. I have all the faith that we will help find y'all's Gracie.
And we do too. I mean, again, obviously, I'm gonna have my ups and downs, and
Absolutely. It's a roller coaster.
But I have to.
I don't like roller coasters.
Yeah, no, he
I
doesn't like them.
know. You want
I do like
off.
roller coasters, but I don't like
Not this one.
Not this one at all. So I do appreciate everybody listening, but if anything, like I said, it's just you got to share her picture, get it
Yeah.
out there. The PDF, if you guys want the PDF, I can send that out and just print
Yeah,
one
if you
copy.
send that to me, I'll post it on my community tab and people can take screenshots of it and print it out. I'll take screenshots.
Yeah, I was gonna say the PDF is easier. It seems like people are like the photo is apparently a problem, but the PDF version of it makes it easier to print. Just one flyer, taking it and putting it by a gas station by your house.
Yes.
Just that one flyer is 100 eyes a day at least.
Yeah. And I live near Atlanta, so I can send flyers near Atlanta. I know Atlanta is really big on trafficking, so I mean, I'll put flyers all over Georgia.
Right. I mean, even if she,
and I mean, it's Georgia. We're a long way from California, but you never know.
No, by any means at this point,
especially with family all the way to West Virginia.
She's been shared in Sweden, guys. Like she's been shared in Sweden.
That's awesome.
So it's in the Interstate 15 is one of the major interstates here from San Diego. Interstate 15 connects right to the 40. From the 40, straight shot all the way across the country. From there, from the 40, you can connect to the 70, go up a little bit north, straight shot all the way across Utah, Colorado, and all the way in the upper northern states. It's 2 freeways, straight shot all the way across. You can also bypass and go down through the bottom part of it. There's 3 major highways. But so those are the highways there. If you live near truck stops, please, by all means, just take the stop. If you know
if you're a trucker, yes.
A trucker, just say, hey, yo, just put this picture in your truck.
Take 5 seconds,
just to remember it. Every truck stop you look at and be like, and visually look about and see and be like, hey, that looks like, just anything at this point. I don't want to say she's not in San Diego, but I just don't feel like she is 12 days later now.
Right.
So I keep getting, well, we saw her here. Oh, maybe she is. And then no, dang it, back to square one. So
yeah, Candace, will you print out flyers for her and put them around there? I know you're in the Atlanta area also. Sorry, I wanted to ask for that.
Thank you very much. And then as for Rachel, are there any volunteering organizations? So in Mexico, I can't even hang. I can go to Mexico and hand out flyers, but I found out that I cannot hang any flyers in Mexico unless she has an active case open in Mexico. And until it's proven trafficking, Mexico doesn't get involved. So
it's another hurdle.
It's another exactly.
Yep.
Get her seen.
Mexico is not. It's definitely got some challenges and everything in there. And if you go down there for information, you better have a pocket full of dollar bills.
Oh yeah, yep. I believe that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with the encampments when you're literally in the States. You go to the encampments, the homeless encampments, and if you want any information, you better flash them a 20. So, and that's the only way that they're going to talk to you, first of all. They better see the money.
Yeah, red tape is definitely infuriating.
Yep.
I agree with that. It is. Thank you guys so much for your time and for coming on to share Gracie's story and continue to get her story out there. Really appreciate you guys talking to us and keeping us updated about everything.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for putting it out there and sharing it and spreading it. And thank you everybody for listening. And let's just get Gracie home.
Yep. We won't stop until she is.
I appreciate it, guys.
Hashtag find Gracie.
Hashtag find Gracie.
Find Gracie. Everywhere. Right. Everywhere y'all post, hashtag find Gracie.
Yep. Just throw her out there because when people click it and look at it, it links it and they get that flyer. They can see it. So
yes.
I appreciate it. All right, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Alan.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll touch base soon.
Yes,
I'll know if
please
there's any
do.
updates. Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
All right.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
y'all. Yeah, y'all. So share that wherever you can. Join the Facebook group. It's all in the comments. It's important. You hear the desperation in their voice. You can hear it. This isn't a runaway case, y'all. This is not a runaway case.
Yeah, definitely not your typical. That's
No.
for sure.
Yeah.
Typical runaway comes back within 72 hours.
Right.
And so we are
And
well
they've
beyond
got
that.
tracks. They're on something. You know what I mean? Especially if they have their phone. They're usually on their phone.
Right. Right. Thank you so much, Mal, for having me on and
Thank
letting
you.
me ask some questions too. I
Yes, thank you
appreciate
for
that.
joining as always, Sleuth Mom. I really appreciate it.
All right. I'm going to jump down too.
Okay,
Have a good
sounds
night.
good. You too. Um, Bridget, so her mom's going to send me a PDF flyer. I'm going to post that on my community tab whenever I get it. As soon as I get it, I'm going to post it. So if y'all can go on my community tab, if you need me to, I can email it to you. If you send me your email address, you email me crimetimewithmal@gmail.com. I can email it to you, whatever is easier for y'all. But we've got to get her face out there everywhere. But I'm going to hop off on here. I appreciate every single one of y'all that came on to listen to Gracie's family, and please like and share this video wherever you can. Get her name out there. Join the Facebook group. Donate. There's a GoFundMe on that Facebook group. If you have any amount of money to Gracie's family, I know they would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Bridget. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Rachel. Even if y'all are also in California or anything, go and print out flyers. So I appreciate it. Thank you, mods, for coming on. I love y'all so very much. Y'all are amazing. And hit that thumbs up button before y'all leave, okay? Y'all have a great night. I'll have a pre-recorded video out on Friday for y'all. And thanks, Heather. Thank you, True Crime with Sunshine. Y'all are amazing. And I'll talk to y'all soon, okay? Bye, y'all. Have a good night.